Ah! Idiot.
Suck fight!
Tatsum! Sumuka, uy!
Hi everyone, it's Krisha from Third World Book Nerd. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, this is where we talk about books and reading and the trials and tribulations about being a Third World Book Nerd. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Today, we're gonna take a look at some underrated books that you might not have read yet, so please stick around. There are a lot of books in this world, as evidenced by our never-ending to-be-read pile. You can't really say that the following books are super obscure because they do have their loyal following. It's just that I think more people should read them because they're so good. And yeah, so that's why we're making this video, so more people can know about these underrated books. First on our list is Graceling by Christine Cashore. Did I pronounce that name right? I'm not so sure, and if I did, please correct me. Let me read to you the summary. The Lady Katsa is graced with a power to kill, and for so long she's been used by her uncle, the king, as a bully and a thug. But is Katsa nothing more than a violent pawn, or is she something more than her deadly grace? Charot, I made that one up. That's not really. Graceling is one of my favorite young adult fantasy books to date. The premise is very engaging too. So basically, there are people who are graced with a gift, and it just so happens that Katsa's gift is killing. And for her whole entire life, she's been raised to think that, this is all I'm gonna be. All I'm gonna be is some violent killing machine. But then, as we go along with this journey throughout the book, we find out that Katsa is really more than what people have raised her to be, and it's so interesting. The character development in this book is crazy.
I love it so much.
The book touches base on self-discovery and coming to terms with who you really are versus who you've been taught you'd be. At first glance, you might think that Katsa is just this typical Mary Sue character, but as you go along the story, you find out that she really is quite multifaceted. So I love that. I love how the author wrote her to be like that. She's this strong female lead who's also afraid of her own strength and vulnerabilities alike. And that's what I really love about this book. So if you haven't read Graceling yet, I do highly suggest that you grab a copy and start reading it now. As in now. Up next, we have one of my all-time favorites. It's called For Darkness Shows the Stars by Diana Peterfriend. Still not sure if I nailed that last name, but I hope I did. Long time ago in Bethlehem, I was super into retellings. Like, I was addicted to them. You know the feature in Goodreads that tells you similar books that people have read? So I used the heck out of that feature and just searched all of the books, all of the retellings that I could get my hands on. I read everything from like fairy tale retellings, Jane Austen retellings, Peter Pan retellings, the whole lot of them, Greek mythology retellings, name it, I've read it. If you have read Jane Austen's Persuasion, you might be familiar with this book. Poor little rich girl rejects the love of her life because her peers do not approve of this young man. Some years pass and the tables have seemingly turned. Poor little rich girl is actually quite poor now, and no one's really laughing at her ex because he's made a name for himself and is actually quite the eligible bachelor. For Darkness Shows the Stars has all this Jane Austen drama, but the catch is that it's set in a dystopian world. I mean, who would have thunk, right? Like, I never thought that this mashup could actually work, but it did. The other thing that I like about this book, aside from its world building and characters, is that it's got this slow burn second chance romance. If there's anything I like more than slow burn romances, it's second chance slow burn romances. These characters have known each other for so long, maybe their whole entire lives, and then they get separated by some fateful events, and then they get to reconnect under very different circumstances now. So it's really cute. I loved it. I won't give any more details about this book for fear of spoiling it. If you love Jane Austen, and you love dystopian, and you love slow burn romances, or slow burn second chance romances, this might be a good book for you. Ciao! I just also want to take a moment to thank everyone who has subscribed so far. We have just reached our 500 sub mark, and I know that that number is peanuts in terms of YouTube subscribers in real life, but still, it really warms my heart to know that there are like 516 of you and counting who actually like what we do here on Third World Book Nerd, and I hope that you'd stick around for longer as well. So, Charad! Thank you so much!
Number 3, and another favorite book of mine, we have Tiger Lily by Jodi, Lynn Anderson. If you've been hanging out with me here on the channel, you'd know that I am a huge fan of this book. This is one of my favorite books. This is a retelling of Peter Pan. I am a huge Peter Pan fan. When I discovered Tiger Lily, I was very interested in the story, especially because it focuses on Peter's life before he met Wendy. So it's basically the story of Peter and the princess Tiger Lily. We all grew up with a magical Neverland and that romantic notion of never growing up. This Neverland in Tiger Lily is very different from that. I loved how Jodi Lynn Anderson tore the story apart with her own bare hands, mashed it all up, and then made it something new. I love how the author took her time to build the world slowly. She showed us the characters' flaws and nuances through subtle little things. You know that sad, wistful feeling you get when an Adele song comes on? That's exactly how I feel whenever I reread Tiger Lily. Next, we have The Winner's Kiss Trilogy by Marie Rutkoski. Oh my gosh. I can't stress this enough. This book is one of the best YA books out there. And more people need to read it. Seriously. I have only one gripe with this book, and it's the covers. I really do not like the covers at all. It's a girl in a ball gown with a sword, and it's super dramatic. And I don't know, marketing team, what were you thinking? The book actually ended up being swallowed by a ton of other similar looking covers, and that's a shame because this book is insanely good. This book's battle scene can give Game of Thrones Season 8 a run for its money. Tension is crazy, it's very smart and tactical, and all throughout you can see a bird's eye view of everything, but still we also have this vantage point of the characters like in that battle. Aside from military strategy, this book also touched base on a lot of mature themes like complex human emotions, colonialism, and slavery, the concept of loyalty and how far you'd go for the sake of it. It's crazy. Like, I don't know. Most of the time, you see young adult books who build up their antagonists so much, but then when the going gets tough, they don't really have that much power at all. Sarah J. Maas, I'm referring to you, girl. But this book has a very strong, calculating villain. He's a very stressful villain. Like, he stresses you out. He's the kind of villain that makes you worry about your characters. He really keeps pushing these characters against the wall. This series shined in conception and did a triple axel double flip and nailed it. Nailed the landing, nailed the execution, nailed everything. I love this book. If you haven't read this series, go get yourself a copy. This book's antagonist, Karis Vitoria, and Voldemort should all form a club and have their own burn book. Voldemort could be Regina George. Last but definitely not the least, we have Ballad and Lament by Maggie Stiefvater. Oh my gosh. Let's activate our light stick for Tita Maggie. Maggie Stiefvater gained popularity due to her The Raven Cycle series, but I think these first two books are also quite great. They're called Ballad and Lament. They have that signature Maggie Stiefvater style that's lyrical and almost poetic. What I really love about this pair is that it's very eerie. Like, it has this eerie air around it, and it really gives you low-key creeps for some reason. If you want to read her other works, go start with Ballad and Lament.
And then I suggest reading the Scorpio races as well. That girl's so into magical realism. I love it. Surprise! That was not the last book in our list. Up next, we have the Winter Night Trilogy by Katherine Arden. Like Maggie Stiefvater, I am in love with Katherine Arden's writing style. I made this mistake of reading the Winter Night Trilogy before I read King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. Both are set in Russia. I think I really spoiled myself with Katherine Arden. Like, her prose is just so good. Like Maggie Stiefvater, it's lyrical, it's almost poetic, it's sweeping, and I love how she really takes her time to just take me on that super amazing descriptive journey through medieval Russia, and I love it. This trilogy is made up of The Bear and the Nightingale, first book, The Girl in the Tower, and the last book, The Winter of the Witch. I almost forgot what it is. It's equal parts fairy tale and coming of age, plus a cute little romance with an immortal god of death. So, dude, it's totally my cup of tea. Just go ahead and grab yourself a copy. Start with The Bear and the Nightingale. It's my favorite book out of the three.
And that is it, you guys. Some underrated books for you to check out. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to click that thumbs up button, give us a like, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more good stuff. I promise I'll try my best to make videos more often for all our enjoyment. If you have read any of these books, leave a comment below, let me know what you think. Or if you have other suggestions for underrated books that you think I should check out, leave that in the comment section as well. So that's it, Pansit. I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This has been Krisha from Third World Book Nerd. Have a donut. Oh, there's your cheese. Okay, bye.